What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Superman issue number 37. This one is written by Joshua Williamson with artwork by, was it Dan Mora? That's right, Dan Mora did the artwork. I just wanted to make sure I didn't get that wrong. But yes, we're continuing the storyline where Superboy Prime is basically taking over this book, and I'm loving this. I'm really enjoying Superboy Prime as kind of the lead of this title for a little while. You know, eventually I'll want to have Superman come back, but in the meantime, I think Williamson is having a lot of fun in this title. And, you know, Superboy Prime's trying to, like, do better, and he's always going to have people kind of watching over his shoulders. Like, he was generally, for the stuff that he did in the past, there's going to be a lot of mistrust going on with him in there, and he's just trying to make things right, trying to hold down a job within this universe, even having the concept of being unable to catch hints of, like, women, like, flirting with him, but is more focused on the comic book aspect of it, that naivete in that, which is pretty fun. He even has a confrontation with Damian in this issue, which I think is the first time Williamson's written Damian since leaving Batman and Robin, and it was good. That was generally some of the best stuff, while taking kind of like, hey, you know, you debuted after I showed up in this Earth area or whatever, and you were initially kind of disliked, but, you know, came around to people liking you. Like, how do you respond to that? Like, what do you do in that regards? And, you know, Damian at first is a little like, I try not to let it bother him, but then we come to find out he's like, no, actually, I lied about this thing, and, like, you know, I just tried to, like, you know, once people were kind of telling me some of the good stuff in essence, and then I, you know, kind of got over it. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so this is a pretty good stuff. Prime trying to hold down a job. You have Jonathan and Martha Kent, and the way he kind of breaks the fourth wall, and he's like, you know, there's some fans who prefer his parents dead, and then some that, you know, like when you had a heart attack and wish you weren't alive. Mark Waid is one of them, and I thought that little asterisk of this is true, Mark Waid, I thought that was pretty funny. But he's constantly having people watching over him, even though he's with the Ma and Pa Kent, and, you know, the heart of Ma and Pa Kent, where they're able to kind of just like, no, like, he's never really going to change. We're constantly like keep a constant, like, watch over him like this. Let us kind of sit and talk with him, and it's just easy. It'll be okay. They put trust back into him, and I think that's something that Prime needed. You have this one, like, girl kind of flirting with him at the comic book shop, and there's little panels right there. It's like, they should be married. That's definitely maybe a nod to Superman and Lois, or perhaps a Spider-Man and Mary Jane sort of thing, where they're arguing at the comic shop. But he's up for Employee of the Month. And he's also kind of visiting various Gotham or landmarks across the DC world, even Crime Alley. And that's where he had the confrontation with Damian. And Damian talks about not caring what people think, but in reality he does. They kind of work together. They do, like, stop the bomb that Clayface had done had gone off, and he's also kind of having visions of, like, bad stuff happening as well. But then Damian lets him know, like, the important moment, like, wait, I lied before when you asked me about my rep. I do care. It took people not judging me by my worst moments, but change wasn't easy. It took time. You just got to keep trying. So thanks. So, you know, Damian is a little hesitant at first. He's like, I don't really need another super related friend, but he ultimately kind of warms up to Prime after he kind of does the right thing and kind of helps save the day after them working together. And Dan Mora's artwork is fantastic. And then the issue kind of ends where that girl that was flirting with him earlier on turns out to be some witch, like, oh, we found our innocent little sacrifice, which innocent is a strong word, especially considering this is Superboy Prime, and that should be pretty fun the next time it kind of comes around. Like, she was trying, like, hey, maybe we can read stuff at my place. It feels like some of those internet memes where, or what's that one where he's like, I'm trying to think. It was the one where some guy's, like, in a bathtub. He's like, I'm not at the beach. I'm in a bathtub, lady. And she's just trying to hit on him or something like that. But he's just so naive to the whole thing. I don't know. I just think stuff like that's pretty funny. And they're like, oh, we got our sacrifice. But not realizing it's going to be Superboy Prime, which should be fun. Also, what's this? Batman, Wonder Woman, Truth. A new epic tale set between the events of Batman Hush and Hush 2. Why is Jeff Loeb working on this now and not finishing Hush 2? Remember, that was in the old, like, Rebirth, like, title of Batman that's still kind of technically going on, that hasn't actually finished. But sure, let's write another tale between that. Come on, like, finish Hush 2 before you start running a tale between the two of them. That's my takeaway from it. Like, yeah, Hush 2, that was a whatever. But anyways, this is about Superman, not Hush 2. But I like the stuff in this a lot. I like what Prime, you know, he's trying to do better, but he has visions of, like, his kind of darker moments, and you have a lot of mistrust going around with him. But you get to see other characters who have maybe, like, gone through some stuff, like Damian, for instance. Not well liked assassin to start, but over time, you know, people kind of saw like him actually change for the good and kind of came around to him. And, you know, stuff had bothered him at first, but, you know, when people weren't judging him by his worst moments, that's when he really started to come around a bit too. And so I'm like, just take your time, keep doing the right thing, and things will be all right. And that's kind of the reassurance that Prime needed in that moment. So yeah, really liking this thing. I think it's solid. I think Dan Warner's artwork is really good. And yeah, it's good stuff. I'm really enjoying Superman right now. So thumbs up for me. But anyways, what did you think of the issue? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications. I got 2 more books in terms of DC this week, and then I'll be all set. And you know what? We're gonna get all 3 of them like done today, which, you know, I almost never do get everything done like first day and like New Comic Book Week, so that way I'm all like way ahead of schedule compared to where I've been in the past. But there's only a few of them, so it's a lot easier to keep up with. All right, well, that's all I have to say. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out, everyone.